it's not the shifts that I were taught off ball. It's probably, it's not the most traditional thing. So it's not just Luka. It's all our guys. When you're in ISO, there's a requirement for what you're supposed to do off ball. We do special coverages on the side when it's empty side and there's no one else over there with star players. I think he's done a nice job of, in terms of how we teach it, he's done a nice job of executing. I mean, he's a basketball savant, and people think he's a basketball savant on the offensive side. He is on the defensive side as well.
For the Lakers, as we embark on the final month of the regular season, Shams, what stood out to you and the biggest takeaway from LeBron's performance last night?
What better time than now to be peaking if you're the Lakers, and specifically that big three of LeBron, Austin Reeves, and Luka Doncic. And LeBron's doing stuff at 41 years old we've never seen. Now he's shooting 13 of 14 from the field. That's a tie for his highest field goal percentage of his NBA career. But LeBron missed a week, March 5th to March 12th. It was a tough game against Denver that they lost. And then he sat out a couple games, 2-3 games. And that's the moment where coaches felt like they saw a renewed perspective from LeBron when he got back. He got a chance to observe how Luka Doncic was playing while he was out, Austin Reeves while he was playing when he was out. And I think coaches saw LeBron come back in with a renewed mindset, and what we've seen from him since, he's diving on the floor for loose balls. He's playing the dunker spot. He's rim running. He's slashing. He's cutting. Last night, he's shown also that on a night when Austin Reeves might score under 20, LeBron James can also step up, have 30 points, and he can still be the number one option. It's just like J.J. Redick said, he's best served on this team as the third highest rated usage player. Luka Doncic, MVP caliber play. Austin Reeves, all-star caliber play. LeBron James can do anything.
Two things. One, remember how the season started. Sciatica for LeBron. And second of all, we talk about load management in the NBA all the time, but a guy with LeBron's mileage could benefit from, as you said, sitting back, watching this team develop, because it's going to come right in with him when he comes back. So having said that, let's just take this as a 7-game snapshot. If LeBron's playing at this clip, are they legitimate contenders out west? Not just a good story, but contenders.
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news as a former Laker, but I don't think so. Like, those two teams at the top of the heap, OKC and the San Antonio Spurs, are just in a different field of their own. Defensively, Lakers look great offensively, and if Austin Reeves continues to play well for them, they have to outscore teams. They've gotten better defensively. I like what they've done. Their activity, deflections, trapping, showing signs of improvement, but I don't think they can catch OKC and San Antonio. But I said offensively, they'd have to outscore people. They have to have guys like Marcus Smart step up, Rui Hachimura step up, DeAndre Ayton. Like, those guys are X factors for them. So if they can do that, they can be in the conversation.
Sure.
But I just don't see them fixing all those defensive holes. But they are trending in the right direction. But they can't fix that to catch San Antonio and Oklahoma City Thunder.
Danny, I have to ask you while you're talking, I almost forgot you won a championship with the Lakers in 2020. How does this team, I mean, they've got star power, right? You guys have star power, LeBron and AD. How does this team differ for you than that team?
They're more of an offensive juggernaut. We were a defensive juggernaut. We had AD, healthy AD, JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard at the rim. We had KCP, Alex Caruso, myself on the perimeter, Avery Bradley. Like, we had a demonstrative defensive team. This team right here with Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, I'm sure KD would love to have him having to carry the load offensively for Houston. Like, he's not able to sit back and play a secondary or third-day role. Like, LeBron James is fresh. He's able to just get out and run and dunk the ball, play in the dunker spot, not have to use his usage rate on the ball. So that's the leverage he has. But with those two guys and Luka playing at MVP caliber level, it makes the game easier for guys like LeBron James and Austin Reeves.
So, Danny, basically what you're saying is the Lakers need role players like you.
Possibly. They need defense.
How many minutes do you have left in you?
Not a lot.
Not a lot, all right.
But defense wins championships. The reason why they say that, they need defense. Right now, they're playing better defense.
How dare you besmirch Luka Doncic's defensive prowess on this show? We'll have much more.
During the year that we're prone to these lapses in games where I thought they lost concentration or they did not play hard enough. They're competing right now defensively, and you saw it really the entire game tonight, particularly first half and how they closed the game.
I want to expound upon that LeBron piece, because you're talking about, depending on what chair you're sitting in a barbershop, the greatest of all time or one of the greatest of all time, who at 41 still, as you saw tonight, plenty of game. But to acquiesce, to slide a bit in your role and recognize, all right, Luka's squad, this is his thing. I'm going to be whatever I need to be. That takes a lot, I would think. And I'm just interested in how you think they've gotten to this seemingly more comfortable place.
Particularly when you're still able to dominate, like LeBron can on some nights, to relinquish that level of control and understand, like, the lane has to be different for this all to work. It is. It's a massive thing for a star player to be able to accept that, but it's what's unlocked all of this. And I think you talk to anybody in the Lakers, they're going to say the same thing. It's that recognition and acceptance that has really unleashed what you're seeing right now out of this team. And this version of the Lakers that we saw tonight, and we've watched now over the last 3 or 4 weeks, this is a formidable problem for the Western Conference when they give you this level commitment defensively, and there is a natural order and flow to their offense that's obviously led by Luka Doncic.
We're like an old married couple. You read my mind there, because last time you were with us, we talked about the top, and it's clearly the Thunder and the Spurs. I think they've earned that place. But the Lakers are the Lakers, baby, and they've got superstars. They've got guys that have done it. Are they a fun team to watch in the playoffs that's really not a threat to go deep, or are they a threat to go deep?
Well, put it this way, they're trending in that direction of maybe representing a problem for a couple of those top teams. Now, you're right. As we sit here today, you're clearly picking, we all are, Oklahoma City or San Antonio. They've been the 2 best teams in the West. They can beat you on both ends of the floor. They've got great depth. They're tough. You name it. They've got superstars at the top. They've got all of that. The Lakers didn't look like they were close to that league for a long time. They're approaching that territory. You still wouldn't look at them and say, yeah, I'd take them in a 7-game series over those top 2. But if they continue this over the remaining part of the regular season, they're going to position themselves where a lot of people are going to look at that and say, hey, do you really want to play this team the way that they're playing right now? They've got to keep it up. Consistency is the key. They've done it now for about a month. Can they do it here the rest of the way and represent a true challenge to the hierarchy in the Western Conference? That's the question that remains for them.
7 in a row, 10 of 11, and they looked the part. Tim, I've been spoiled these last 2 Wednesdays. Great to visit with you, my friend. I look forward to the next time we do.
34 minutes or less in every game but one that was an overtime win against Denver. The Lakers are the 3 seed. They're a game and a half up on Minnesota. They keep pushing Houston down by beating them, which is a good thing because I think that's the team you want to see in the first round. David Dennis Jr., I blurred out all of these numbers. That tells you what about the Lakers and LeBron right now?
They just keep winning in part because they have been consistent. That's just what it is. Like, part of what's happening is the rest of the Western Conference is falling apart, and the Lakers are just, in a good stride right now. The Rockets are an absolute mess. It was painful to watch them play these last 2 games, especially. Anthony Edwards is hurt. The Nuggets just lost to the Grizzlies last night. The West is sort of a struggle in that murky 4 through 6 area, and the Lakers are playing better right now. Now, my ceiling for them was being out in the first round. I think they can make it to the second round. That's probably the highest ceiling that I'm going to give them right now. But they're kind of doing a lot of the right things. Like, Luka is playing out of his mind. They have figured out that if they put LeBron more in that dunker spot to be more of the Super Saiyan Draymond, which I've been saying at the beginning of the season, I think that makes the most sense for them. Now, defensively, I still have a lot of concerns for them. I still have a lot of concerns about once they're playing every 48 hours come playoff time and some of those matchups. But the Lakers' ceiling has been raised from what I thought it was a couple of weeks ago, which is at least a good thing for them.
And is the ceiling raised because of LeBron's adjusted role? Because of what he is doing to help this Lakers team reach their maximum? I mean, we're seeing a different version of him and therefore a different version of the team, which is resulting in success. It's resulting in wins and wins over some quality teams.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is LeBron James needing to be everything else than what LeBron James has usually been, which is he needs to be the 3rd best player on a team. He needs to be a guy that disrupts defenses, that, picks off weak side passes, that gets out, in fast break, in transition. Because for all LeBron James' weaknesses at the age of 41, which he is, well inclined to have them, he can still get downhill as well as anybody else. And offensively, when he is catching those alley-oops, when he's in that dunker spot, when he is getting backdoor passes, when he's just a disruptive force on offense and defense and not in control of the ball, that is a significant advantage for this Lakers team.
Let's just define dunker spot for people that may hear that and may not be familiar with that. Basically, that's low block, right? Yeah. So he's on the low block. And the reason, David, I want to define that for people is when people think about LeBron James's career, they think about, he's always compared to Michael.
Yeah.
The comparison game-wise is more Magic than it is Michael, right? And he's playing kind of a point forward at time with the ability to score. He's the leading scorer in the history of the sport. But what the Lakers are having him do, in some ways, is way more similar to what Miami had him do than Cleveland or the Lakers previously, which is treat him like a power forward. Mm-hmm. Treat him like someone that is as strong as he is. He is unbreakable in terms of his strength, right? 6'8", 250, 240, whatever he is, chiseled beyond belief, and using that power and that ability to dunk, and he's not the greatest three-point shooter in the world, and they have someone at this point in his career that's better at that point forward than he is, which is Luka. So I think JJ Redick deserves a lot of credit here, because whether this was by design or by default or however it happened, they got him to the place that I think, David, is where he's played his best basketball. When he plays more big than he does small. I believe, and I'm biased, I'm a Heat fan, but I think the numbers back me up. The best years of his career were in Miami, like in terms of his basketball. Just basketball. Maybe not his happiness, maybe not the overall success that he had in Cleveland with the second go around. But I truly believe they have him playing the right position now, and he's playing defense.
Yeah, he is playing defense. He is sort of being just, like I said, being disruptive. Like last night, what's kind of sealed the game, one of the things they sealed the game was Luka breaking through some really terrible double teams and just getting the ball, alley-ooping the ball to LeBron James. Or, if LeBron James is going to cut to the basket, there is another guy open for three, whether it is Austin Reeves or somebody. Like, LeBron James is still a guy that is going to demand attention. He's going to demand you keep an eye on him. And to have that as your third guy when Austin Reeves can also still penetrate and get to the basket, when Luka can put up 40, basically a 40-point triple-double, that's formidable for these three guys. Like, offensively, you're going to have to keep up with this Lakers team regardless of what they do defensively. They're going to put pressure on you offensively throughout the entirety of the game, which is going to tire a lot of these defenses out.
Coming up.
There is something happening with the Los Angeles Lakers right now that the entire NBA needs to stop and genuinely reckon with. Because what came out of Houston over the last 72 hours is not a fluke. It is not a hot streak that can be explained away by weak competition, and it is not the kind of thing you file under regular season noise and move on from. 7 wins in a row, 10 wins in 11 games. A team that was being quietly written off as a collection of aging stars and expensive gambles has turned itself into the most cohesive, most dangerous, and most fascinating group in the Western Conference. And the player at the absolute center of all of it is 41 years old. Just took a hard foul to the elbow in the fourth quarter of a road game, laughed about it in a post-game interview, and then made history that no one in the history of this league has ever made before. Not at his age. Not even close. Tonight, the Lakers board a plane to Miami for the second game of a back-to-back. Bam Adebayo is listed as probable with a calf issue. LeBron James told ESPN's Lisa Salters that he needed to go put some ice on that elbow because, and I want you to remember this line, "We've got a back-to-back. I'm 41. I need to prepare." And that sentence, delivered with a laugh and zero drama, might be the most revealing thing any athlete has said this entire season about what it actually means to compete at the highest level when your body has been doing this for over 2 decades. Before we get to Miami, before we talk about what this winning streak means for seeding and for the playoffs and for the entire Western Conference picture, you need to understand exactly what was constructed inside the Toyota Center over these last 2 nights. Why JJ Redick's most honest public admission of the year has everything to do with it, and why Kevin Durant, a man who has competed against LeBron James for 20 years, just said something that should permanently end the conversation about whether this man is done. If you are enjoying this content and want to stay current on everything happening with the Lakers right now, hit that like button because we have a lot of ground to cover tonight. So let us begin talking firstly about what actually happened on Wednesday night in Houston. Because the final score of 124-116 is accurate and also completely insufficient as a description of what unfolded over 48 minutes at the Toyota Center. This was not a tidy, comfortable wire-to-wire performance. The Los Angeles Lakers led by 13 points in the first half, looked like they were going to coast, and then watched the Houston Rockets come all the way back. Houston opened the third quarter on an 18-5 run, 18 points to 5, and turned what had been a double-digit deficit into a 6-point lead. Alperen Şengün, who had missed the previous 2 games with a back injury, returned to the lineup and immediately reminded everyone why he is one of the most complete big men in the Western Conference, finishing with 27 points and 10 assists. Amen Thompson added 26 points and 11 rebounds. Kevin Durant, who had been nearly invisible in the first half with just 2 points, started finding his rhythm in the third quarter. The crowd at Toyota Center was awake and loud, and genuinely convinced that Houston was about to send these Lakers home with a split. Everything that needed to go right for Houston was going right for Houston, and the Lakers did not flinch. They absorbed the momentum shift, held themselves together through the darkest stretch of the game, and then LeBron James opened the fourth quarter with 4 straight points as part of a 6-0 run that gave Los Angeles a 102-96 lead and effectively broke the Rockets' spirit. From that moment forward, it was Luka Doncic orchestrating the closing sequence with a level of composure and creativity that we have genuinely run out of new superlatives for. Back-to-back alley-oop assists to Hachimura and then to James. A go-ahead 3 alongside Hachimura when the game was still teetering. And then the defining moment, a step-back 3-pointer that pushed the lead to 120-111 with 58 seconds remaining, punctuated by some very colorful and enthusiastic commentary directed at the Houston crowd. The final line for the Lakers as a team was 60.5% shooting from the field. DeAndre Ayton contributed 16 points and showed the kind of motor and engagement that has been quietly building throughout this winning streak. Austin Reeves had 14 points and 8 assists, continuing a season that has already rewritten what we thought was possible from an undrafted player in this league. His 24-point-per-game average this year is the highest by an undrafted player since Moses Malone in 1986, and the highest ever by a Laker who went undrafted since George Mikan. Marcus Smart played his role with the quiet authority of a man who has been doing this for years and understands exactly when to turn it up and when to stay out of the way. This was a complete team performance in the truest sense. And thinking about it carefully, the most important thing about this win is not the score, but the sequence. The fact that when Houston punched them in the face in the third quarter and took the lead, the Lakers responded not with panic and not with hero ball, but with defense, composure, and the kind of collective belief that you simply cannot install through a coaching staff. That has to live inside the group. Right now, it does. Now let us talk about the man who made history inside that building on Wednesday night, because LeBron James at 41 years old just did something that requires a full and honest accounting. He was perfect from the field for the entire first half. 8 attempts, 8 made baskets, a variety of attacks that included transition dunks, mid-range pull-ups, and rim finishes against younger, longer defenders who were doing everything right and simply could not stop him. He was so clean in the first half that it started to feel surreal, like watching a highlight tape play out in real time. He eventually finished 13 of 14 from the field, tying the best single-game shooting performance of his entire career, a mark he first set back in 2013 when he was playing for Miami, with 30 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a block, and a steal in 34 minutes. ESPN Insights published the historical context immediately after the final buzzer. LeBron James is now the oldest player in NBA history to score at least 30 points on 90% shooting, and he did it by a margin of nearly 5 full years over the previous record holder. That is not a close call. That is not an aging superstar sneaking past a statistical threshold on a lucky night. That is a 41-year-old man operating at a level of physical precision that no 41-year-old in the history of professional basketball has ever operated at. He also crossed 12,000 career rebounds in this game, becoming the 23rd player in NBA history to reach that milestone, a number that speaks to 2 decades of positioning, effort, and physical engagement that most players do not sustain even into their early 30s. The only thing that momentarily disrupted the night was a hard foul from Jabari Smith Jr., with about 5.5 minutes remaining in the fourth. A hook on the elbow as LeBron went up for a layup that forced him to grab the arm and shake it out on the floor. After the buzzer, he was practically sprinting to the locker room when Lisa Salters caught him for the post-game interview. He laughed, told her he needed to go put ice on the elbow, explained that there is a back-to-back coming, reminded her he is 41 years old, and disappeared into the tunnel. I believe that moment, the laugh, the self-awareness, the matter-of-fact acknowledgement of age without a single syllable of complaint captures something essential about why LeBron James is still doing what no 41-year-old has ever done. He is not pretending the body is the same as it was at 25. He is managing it with the precision of an engineer, the dedication of a monk, and the competitive fire of someone who has absolutely no interest in going quietly. The performance in Houston was extraordinary on its own terms, but it also gave new meaning and new weight to something JJ Redick said publicly in recent days that has been circulating through NBA circles with the quiet power of a genuinely honest confession. Redick introduced the 4-burner theory, a framework that says life has 4 burners representing work, health, personal relationships, and fulfillment, and that to truly master any one of them, you have to accept that some of the others are going to be turned down or turned off entirely. The point Redick was making was specific and deliberate. LeBron James, to still be producing 30-point games on 93% shooting at 41 years old, has made sacrifices in other areas of his life that most human beings have never made and likely never will. The off-season regimen, the sleep optimization, the nutrition, the body work, the mental preparation, all of it comes at a cost. And then Redick said the quiet part with full volume. Watching LeBron James makes him feel like a loser. He did not say it with false humility or as a throwaway joke. He said it as the honest reckoning of a man who is himself an extremely accomplished former professional athlete and current NBA head coach, standing next to someone operating on a completely different plane of dedication. LeBron's response was everything. If he's a loser, we're all in deep trouble. That line landed because it is genuinely funny and also genuinely true. JJ Redick played 10 years in the NBA, was one of the most accurate shooters of his generation, and is now leading a franchise that has won 10 of its last 11 games. If that man watches LeBron warm up and feels inadequate, what does that say about the rest of us sitting on our couches? The 4-burner theory is not just a smart metaphor. It is a window into the internal culture of this Lakers organization. The shared understanding that what LeBron brings to this team every night is not accidental, not natural talent running on fumes, but the result of a level of commitment to the craft that the people around him see up close and still cannot fully comprehend. Thinking about it carefully, Redick calling himself a loser in LeBron's presence might be the most honest thing a head coach has said about one of his own players in years. And it might also be the clearest explanation anyone has offered for why these Lakers are suddenly 10 wins in 11 games. Which brings us to the question that the four-burner conversation inevitably leads to: how much longer? For how many more years can LeBron James sustain this? The conventional narrative going into this season was that this was Luka Doncic's team, that LeBron would play a supporting role, contribute what he had left, and begin the graceful process of stepping back. The narrative was reasonable. The narrative was also being completely demolished on the floor of the Toyota Center on Wednesday night, when a man who will turn 42 in December went 13 for 14 and set a historical record. And this week, Kevin Durant, who spent 2 games in Houston watching all of this at extremely close range, decided to weigh in. Durant said publicly that he believes LeBron James can play until he is 45 years old. Let us be very clear about what that statement means coming from that specific source. Kevin Durant is not LeBron's publicist. He is not a former teammate offering sentimental support. He is a lifelong competitor and one of the greatest offensive players in the history of the sport. A man who has been measuring himself against LeBron James since they were both in their early 20s. When Durant looks at the 13 of 14 shooting efficiency, the transition finishing, the defensive engagement, the leadership in fourth quarter moments, and announces that he sees 4 more years of this, he is making a professional judgment from a position of intimate competitive knowledge. He has watched LeBron age from a distance and from close range, in regular season games and Olympic games and playoff series, and his conclusion is that whatever LeBron is doing to sustain this level of performance has not yet reached its ceiling. I believe Durant is also saying something else beneath the surface, that what LeBron is proving this season is not just that he is still good, but that the model he has built for athletic longevity is genuinely without precedent, and that the basketball world does not yet have the right vocabulary to fully describe it. Set against all of that, the records, the Durant endorsement, the Redick confession, the 7-game winning streak. LeBron James himself has been completely and consistently clear about his place within this team, and he repeated it again after the Houston game with the confidence of someone who has made peace with a truth that took most of his career to arrive at. He said it directly. Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves are the closers of this team. He is the one who fits around them. He is not the primary option anymore, and he is not only comfortable with that, he seems energized by it. The numbers reflect this completely. LeBron is averaging fewer than 13 field goal attempts per game this season, comfortably below his historical average with the Lakers. He is playing efficient, purposeful basketball rather than high-volume basketball, converting at a rate that makes every shot feel intentional rather than necessary. And JJ Redick has said publicly, multiple times and with genuine conviction, that the best structural thing that has happened to this team is LeBron operating as the 3rd highest usage player in the rotation. When the ball moves through Doncic and Reeves first, and LeBron functions as the connector and the closer of the closer, the transition threat, the screen setter, the alley-oop finisher, the calm presence in the fourth quarter, this team becomes something that opposing coaches genuinely struggle to design a single game plan against. You cannot take away all 3 of them simultaneously. You cannot key on Doncic without opening up Reeves. You cannot ignore Reeves without inviting LeBron to start hunting mismatches. And LeBron understanding his role so clearly, naming his teammates as the closers without hesitation, without qualification, without the ego friction that would have made that statement impossible 10 years ago. is itself one of the most important things that has happened to this franchise since the trade that brought Doncic here. Thinking about it carefully, LeBron calling Reeves and Doncic the closers is the single clearest sign that this team has found its identity, and that the man who has defined the Lakers for years is actively choosing to protect that identity rather than override it. One final note before we turn our attention fully to tonight's game in Miami. And this one comes from off the court, but it matters in the larger picture of what LeBron James is and what he is still deciding. This week, LeBron confirmed, directly and without ambiguity, that he has no interest in owning an NBA franchise, specifically addressing the Las Vegas expansion team that has been one of the most anticipated league additions in years. This is significant because LeBron spent years with ownership as an openly stated ambition. The post-playing chapter in which he would follow the Michael Jordan model and control a franchise from the front office, applying his basketball intelligence and business empire to building something from the ground up. Las Vegas would have been a perfect fit. The market, the brand alignment, the opportunity to build something new. All of it made sense on paper. And he said no. What I believe that tells us is that LeBron James is still entirely and completely a player, not a future executive planning his exit strategy. When you are going 13 for 14 and Kevin Durant is saying 45 and your coach is saying he feels like a loser watching you, ownership can wait. The four burners are still configured exactly as a champion needs them to be. Tonight at Kaseya Center in Miami, the Lakers will play the second night of a back-to-back against a Miami Heat team sitting at 38-31, still fighting hard for seeding position in a genuinely crowded Eastern Conference playoff picture. Bam Adebayo is listed as probable after managing a calf issue. Andrew Wiggins is out with a toe injury. Jimmy Jackus Jr. is questionable with a hip problem. The Heat blew out Charlotte recently and are a dangerous home team capable of punishing tired legs. The Lakers are on the back end of a back-to-back, traveling from Houston to Miami after LeBron James took a hard foul to the elbow less than 24 hours ago. This is the test of depth, of trust in the rotation, of whether JJ Redick can manage minutes intelligently enough to win a game that his best players do not need to fully sacrifice their bodies for. I believe the Lakers find a way to win tonight, because I believe in the habits this team has built during these 10 wins in 11 games, and I believe in the culture that is quietly forming around this group. But however tonight ends, the story of this week belongs to Houston, to 7 consecutive wins, to 30 points on 13 of 14 shots, to a 41-year-old man laughing about an elbow on his way to the ice, to a coach admitting he feels like a loser, and to a rival spending 2 games watching all of it and deciding that 4 more years is not just possible, but probable. The Los Angeles Lakers are not just winning basketball games right now. They are building something that the rest of the NBA is going to have to find an answer for very soon.